Hi guys, welcome to our review of the 3FUL Lanshan 2 Pro. And we're a bit late to this particular party because this tent has already proven quite popular with the budget-minded part of the ultralight community. And when I say budget-minded, I mean that in the best possible way, because sometimes backpacking, and especially ultralight backpacking, can feel like a hobby for rich people. You can easily spend a couple of grand on a decent ultralight setup, and if you're lucky enough to live in Europe, you can add 30% in taxes and import duties. This right here is an interesting graph of some of the most popular two-person tents across different brands, and it's easy to see the correlation between price and weight. You want a lighter tent, you'll have to pony up. So why am I boring you with graphs in a tent review? Well, because the red dot here is the Lanshan 2 Pro, and it promises to be a cheap tent with the weight and the quality of an expensive one. But does it deliver on that promise? Let's find out. The design will be familiar to anyone who's ever looked at the Zpacks Duplex, which at $600 remains one of the most popular high-end ultralight tents. The shape is pretty much identical, but the Lanshan is made from sil nylon instead of Dyneema. Dyneema is formerly known as Cuban fiber, and if you're not familiar with these materials, it just kind of means that the Lanshan is very light, but not state-of-the-art crazy light like the Zpacks. So we're talking about a single-wall, two-person tent that comes in light gray, green, and brown. It is not freestanding, so it'll fall over if you don't stake it down, and you'll need 2 trekking poles to set it up. You can also buy dedicated support rods at 120 centimeters or 3 feet 11 inches, and those can also be had on AliExpress at about 36 euros, about $42. It packs up pretty small and it can fit sideways into pretty much any backpack. And I gotta say I like that because with many tents you can only fit them vertically, and that makes it more difficult to evenly distribute the weight in your backpack. How hard is it to set up? Always an important question when it comes to tents. We did a test trying to set it up the first time without reading any instructions or watching any videos, and that took us about 4 to 6, 7 minutes. And we lost a lot of time trying to figure out where to put the trekking poles. So I'm confident that with some practice you can get that job done in 2 to 3 minutes, which I would consider quite a good time. And it makes sense too, because it really is a very simple construction. All you need to do is stake the corners, set up the poles, and then stake the guy lines. One other benefit of it being a single wall tent is that you can set it up in the rain and still expect it to be dry inside. Speaking of rain, when you take this tent out of the packaging, it is not waterproof, so they include a note telling you to seal the seams first. But of course no one likes to be told what to do, so we went out and set it up right away. First night in the Lanshan 2 Pro, I've not seam sealed it yet and it is raining, so we'll see if that's gonna be a problem. Okay, it's morning now. First test without seam sealing went about as well as you would expect. There is some water in the corners, there's some rain in the corners, and beneath these little patches. Belgian weather versus unsealed tent 1-0. So in the end, we didn't really have a choice but to seal the seams. And they even include a little syringe in the packaging to help you. Problem is, I could not find it for the life of me. I knew I'd seen it, it was in the bag, but I could not find it. So I ended up using the little screw-on brush that came with the seam sealer tube. That seems designed to let you waste as much seam sealant as possible and does a great job at that. So instead of a small line of silicone at the seams, I ended up with quite broad strokes, which are not exactly aesthetically pleasing, but I will say that it does the job. I set the tent up again the following day, left it out in the rain for 3 days, not a drop of rain inside. My previous tent was a Decathlon Quick Hiker 2, which is a bit shorter and also considerably lower. And I must say that I especially enjoyed the height of the tent. There is actually enough headroom in here for me to be sitting inside reading a book with proper back support. So if it rains all day, I'm good. Won't happen very often, but when it does, I will be appreciating the hell out of it. The extra leg room is of course also nice, but this thing is a single wall tent, which means that you're inevitably going to get condensation on that single wall. And that condensation is going to rain down on you if you touch the ceiling by accident. So the extra space is nice, but it's also pretty much a necessity. I'm guessing people up to 185 centimeters or 6'1" won't have any trouble. But if you're a lot taller than that, then at the very least I'd recommend sleeping diagonally to avoid condensation showers. Will this thing last? Honest answer, we don't know yet. But I will say that the craftsmanship and the finish do inspire confidence. It's made from 20D nylon, which is slightly stronger than previous Lanshan tents, and long-term reviews online seem pretty positive. So we are optimistic. But if you see this review in the future, you should know two things. A, we are very jealous of you for not having to live through 2020 anymore. And B, you can always drop us a line in the comments and we'll let you know if we're still happy with the durability. I think the best way to put it is to say that I was seriously contemplating buying a high-end Dyneema tent, maybe a Zpacks or a tarp tent, and I'm quite happy that I didn't. Because at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, what is one less gram worth to you? This, to me, is a very lightweight, solidly built, versatile tent, and having an even lighter one would cost me more than €1 per gram, or $30 per ounce, and that is a lot of money for not a lot of weight loss. You skip a couple of snacks now and then, and you're there. So we recommend the Lanshan 2 Pro. Just don't forget where you put the syringe. Speaking of rain, when you take this tent out of the packaging, the seals are not seamed.